Hi friends! This is DaintyTank. Thank you for joining me. Welcome back to Fatal 12. This is part 16! Woo! As you can tell, I've been recording these all in one night because, fancy that, it's Pride Month and I also am going to be taking care of a friend. So I need to pre-record some videos. Sorry about that. I'm still going to be around the comments, so if you want to comment and say hi, please feel free. Hi, DaintyTank. Hey friends, and then we'll have some fun. So, this is part 16, Poke Totoro, see all the things, this is great. I am so interested in what the heck is about to happen. So we had the showdown with Alan and Odette, and they are equally terrifying. Meanwhile, Rinka just goes, Miharu saved me, and the police show up. So, and then they had Curry? I don't even know. And now Alan's their bodyguard? It's very questionable, and I don't know what the heck is gonna happen with the boy. So, maybe he goes and lives with Rinka? This is very, very questionable. I don't know anything about what the heck is about to happen. So, anyways, let's keep going. Load. So the boy just ran off. And Rinka was like, hey! He leaves the room immediately. Alan doesn't seem fazed, but the same can't be said for Shikasuru. Pardon me, could you give us a moment? For no reason to worry about his safety on the streets at night, but entirely possible he could start something with the police if they do approach him. Leaving Alan here by himself is too risky, though. It's pretty scary to sit here all alone with them, but I stay behind regardless. Good grief. I have to admit, you struck me as far less reasonable person. Looks like I might have misjudged you. I see. Perhaps buying time through conversation isn't my best idea. Since I'm no good at it, it makes it a point to say as little as possible. Anyways. 10 minutes. Oh my goodness. 10 minutes pass and not a single word is exchanged. Alan sits silent. The only action of note is when he blinks. I thought I'd be okay, but it's starting to get to me. Rinka, I have a question for you. Yeah? He's so rebuffed that I struggle not to jump out of my skin. What exactly is your goal here? Your actions don't strike me as someone who wants to live through this ordeal. I can't say he's wrong. Never even stopped going to school after Divine Selection began. Not like he knows that. He likely basing his claim off the way I've involved myself with other participants. No, and honestly, I'm not even sure how I ended up in this situation myself. But what I do know is that it's all been due to my own judgment. As far as I've questioned how much my life is worth, I've never once resigned to the idea that I'm fine with being eliminated. When I put all that together, it's easy to answer his question. I want to live. I want to make it through this. My actions may seem roundabout from your standpoint, but this is just me staying true to who I am. I'm sure of it. These may be extraordinary circumstances, but I'm not built to adapt to them. Average is all I know. I'm easily influenced and prone to sticking my nose into what I shouldn't. That's me. That's what defines Shishimai Rinka. I shouldn't have bothered to ask. The look in your eyes at the hospital told me all I needed. Maybe it is my imagination, but I think I see him throw a faint smile as he says that. In that case, I look forward to seeing how far that mindset could take you. For now, there's little point in pressing you for information that you have no memory of. Who told you that? It's logical to assume that you forgot the contents of your own cards along with the rules of Divine Selection. Perhaps not knowing your cause of death or regret may make it easier for you to act the way you do. The same goes for that child. Participants like that have little choice but to focus on eliminating others in order to learn about themselves. It really was obvious that I'd forgotten everything about divine selection during my first visit to the Court of Fate. Especially after my discussion with Miharu and needing Parsa to explain things over to me from scratch. Had he taken the possibility that I forgot my own cards into consideration ever since? Did you agree to Shikasugu's terms in hopes of finding out more about that kid? I didn't, but now that you mention it, that does make for a decent plan. The one seems the type to reveal important information when one least expects it, perhaps while asleep. Considering the amnesia, dreams can serve as a bridge to the memories buried deep within his psyche. That would be a bit too convenient, but your point still stands. Getting the conversation off here seems wise. The last thing I want is for him to somehow extract information about Miharu from me. She set it up so everyone thinks we've had a falling out, but at this point, the rate, I might end up spilling the beans on that one more. Saying that aside, I'm surprised he agreed to Shikasugu's terms so quick. Assuming what he said is true, then it isn't just because he sees value in doing so. There's more to it. He lets his emotions take the wheel, from what I can tell. Not like I can ever say that to his face. They took their time getting back. Footsteps from the entrance. Feel free to check if you want. I have no intention of breaking my promise, so I'll remain here. He's right, I hear noises coming from the entrance. Make my way over to welcome them back. 5 or so minutes after he began his search, Shikasugu found the person he was looking for on his way back home. So this is where you went, you. 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 It's hard to run away when you don't have any memories of other places to go. Shikasugu referred to number 4 as you. That wasn't his real name. It was a name Shikasugu gave the boy upon their first encounter. Do you hate me now? Of course not. Why are you okay with getting eliminated? You know you'll die, right? You know that I'll be all alone, right? Is it because we're not real family? Even real families aren't guaranteed to stay together forever, I'm afraid. Oh, that's pretty. He got solemn gaze of the nice guy as he spoke. Having lost his wife far too soon, Shikasugu spent his days battling loneliness. Meanwhile, his son got married soon after graduating college and getting hired into a financing company. Shikasugu got along with his daughter-in-law at first, but things changed when she became pregnant. Perhaps it was more accurate to say that Shikasugu changed. Knowing a baby was on the way, both made the decision to move out. Shikasugu's son was gradually moving up the corporate ladder, so it felt like the right time to go. And that was when Shikasugu's battle with loneliness reached its zenith. The stress it caused him led to outbursts of violence. His attitude took a drastic turn as he became stubborn over the most minor things. He would complain about his daughter-in-law's cooking for no reason. His actions eventually led to their hastened departure from Shikasugu's home. The loneliness and self-hatred that followed changed him even more. They did get back in touch years later, but nothing ever came from it. Shikasugu's issues eventually led him to gambling, which he used as a means to distract himself. This, in turn, led to him racking up more and more debt to the point that it almost affected his son's family. It was then that they cut all ties with him. Years later, he visited their home, only to find out no one was living there. They just up and vanished. Perhaps they thought the exact same thing about Shikasugu, considering how little contact he made from the outside world. No, goodness. That was a lot of information dumped on me. Oh right, you told me about what happened. That was all on me in the end, but you opted to stay with me, even after hearing my story. You may have had nowhere else to go, but it's clear that you weren't hoping to use me for your own interests. Interests? I don't know what that means, but sure. Staying with you because I like being with you. I like going to see the horses and boats and all that stuff too. Irk. The biggest reason is that you gave me somewhere to belong. Just being here helps keep my mind off my own amnesia. Over a month has passed since divine selection began. Both Shigasugu and you have spent the majority of that time together. To others, their relationship may be fundamentally flawed. To Shigasugu, however, their relationship was that of a true family. No matter what the others may think, you are family to me. Same here, you're my one and only family. There was no preface to his statement. For you, the present took precedence over his lost memories. His words were proof of that. But it doesn't change the reality that I will die, though. You young'uns may have had your lives cut short by one of fate's pranks, but that isn't true for me. Even if my back hadn't given out that day, I didn't have much time left. That's why the only thing I desire was to spend as much time with you as possible. It's a simple desire, but one that can't compare to that of the younger people giving it their all to survive. I don't know what you mean, Shigasugu. This stuff is too complicated for me. What I'm saying is that it's up to you to decide how you live your life from here on. It's up to me? Indeed. If you have even the slightest desire to live, then do something you can to make it. Do everything you can to make it through divine selection. If you lack the desire, then I won't just stop you. You can't make me choose like that. I'm afraid you have no choice. My elimination is a matter of days away. I don't want to lose you. He was growing more upset as the conversation carried on. Shigasugu, on the other hand, remained calm as ever. Naming you may have been a mistake when I think about it. Not sure if your amnesia had any effect on the outcome, but I never expected a card to form from my doing so. Not knowing the contents of your own cards was the greatest asset, yet my actions ruined it. No, they didn't. They made me happy. You gave me a name when I couldn't remember my own. Ho-ho, I'm glad to hear it. In that case, I've only one wish for you. I won't tell you to press on and leave if that's not what you want. However, I do want you to understand the joy of providing something for another. Much like how he had given you his name. Only a name, but also a place to call a home. I'll be able to pass something on that I received from you, too. Have I given you something? I don't remember doing that. You have. I don't get it. I'm trying to understand, but I just can't. Work towards understanding it then. Once you do, you'll be able to share in my joy. Shigasugu rested a hand on Yu's head before patting it. His words and actions were cheerful despite the context of the situation. Meanwhile, Yu was unable to find his answer. He had not accepted his reality. At the same time, that state of mind made him all the more susceptible to what Shigasugu had to say. So eventually, he came to understand what was about to transpire. Shigasugu was going to die, and there was absolutely nothing he could do about it. I happened to overhear their conversation. Don't intend to, but there's no excuse. Don't catch the entire thing, but one important thing doesn't slip by me. You. The moment Shigasugu called number for that, my book began to glow. The resulting card contains nothing but 2 letters. I'm glad Alan wasn't nearby when it happened. Things will only get more complicated if any of them learn that I now know his name. You. I repeat his name to myself. I figured that Shigasugu had given him a name, but I never expected that name to be the one on his card. This would have been far more difficult to believe if I hadn't had that conversation with Miharu about one's perception of one's name. What did Shigasugu have in mind when giving him that name, though? Surely there's some meaning behind it. Doesn't matter. I somehow ended up with all 3 of Yu's cards. Really? Hold on. What? Name. Oh yeah, because she already had the cause of death. Oh. But you don't have it in me to elect either of them now. If Alan elects Shigasugu, logic dictates that I elect you. Try my best to convince myself that it's what I would need to do, but it's not that easy. Ugh. We make our way to the living room after I meet them at the entrance. Now the conversation starts up once we've all gathered, but it dies off pretty fast. Apologies for the wait. Said my piece already, so it's fine. Give me a room and I'm satisfied. No need to worry. I'll do just that. You still isn't happy about the scenario, but regardless, the conversation is over. Knowing that, I decided to make my way back home, albeit far later than planned. Number 11 might have her eye on you as well. Yeah. Although she'll probably target me first. Settling the score tends to take priority for people like her. I'm not the only participant here she'd want to do that with, of course, but there's no need to be concerned. I plan to keep my end of the bargain. So I'm so stunned by his apparent concern for me that I struggle to find a way to respond. What is with this guy? First he threatens to kill a baby without hesitation, then he agrees to Shikasugu's turns that don't entirely benefit him. To top all of it off, now he's worrying about my safety. Goodbye and thanks for dinner. I don't think I'll ever forget how delicious it was. Thanks. I'm sure there's still some left, so go ahead, eat it up when you're hungry. Allow me to see you off. We then make our way out of the living room. You need to leave the house with me. Now I feel bad. Shikasugu follows me outside rather than seeing me off at the entrance. It's uncommon for us to be alone together, so I take this chance to clear my doubts. Can I ask you what your plans are for you if you get eliminated? It's quite the naughty habit you have there. Sorry, I did that on purpose. You gave him that name, didn't you? I did. He may be a kind child, but he's also a courageous one. The pronunciation of you sounds both Japanese and foreign, doesn't it? I must admit that I never expected the card result from it. This is speculation on my part, but it seems like each participant's own personal perception holds a sizable influence over their cards. I see. Allow me to answer your question, though. Nod my head, urging him to continue. I, for 1 million yen stowed away for him to use as he sees fit. My first reaction is to look around after recovering from my own shock. I'm worried about any lurking burglars overhearing him, but I guess anyone sneaking into that house is far more dangerous than those already outside. I should be planning to get him through the remaining 2 months of divine selection. It's not my place to dictate how he does afterwards, but if his memories return, then he should have enough to return home, assuming he doesn't spend it all first, of course. How did you make that much money? There are plenty of ways to do that, so I gathered up as much as I could find in that house and sold off anything of value for one. You mentioned before that his pension and benefits were its only sources of income right now. Talked about being in debt as well, so I can only assume he went through some shady dealings to gather up that amount. Knowing he did it all for you's sake made it hard to judge him for it, though. It's pretty difficult, I tell you, especially when they froze my bank account and I'm already used up my savings. You saw how messy the house is, no? I turned the place upside down looking for things to sell, but couldn't find it in me to clean it up back up afterwards. That explains it. Slapped both hands over my mouth the moment I realized I'm about to say it. Might be the truth, but it's still rude to say such things out loud. Oh, don't worry about it. Regardless, there's no need for you to be concerned about him. It's a heartfelt sigh. Can't find the humor in it, though, so I just nod. Well then, I guess I'll see you in the dream world. Yeah, thanks for everything. Come now, I should be the one thanking you. Shuffles back into his house. That's how it should be. Things are looking up for me now. Even so, I make my way with a knot in my heart. Family, huh? When I get back to my room, my heart drums up images of Shikasugu and you. Shikasugu talked about the joy of providing something to another. Was I able to do that for Kikyo? Was I able to do that for Sanya even? Shikasugu's elimination during the next election is all but guaranteed. Was I able to provide something for him, knowing that would happen? I heard him out and made dinner for you. There's no need to involve myself with any of the other participants further than this. Yeah, I find myself worried about waking up on Monday plagued with regret. Screw this. Figure out I'm best off acting instead of worrying. So I make my way to my computer. Uh-huh. Thus another day of school rolls by. Stayed up late last night doing research, so I'm still a bit tired. And wouldn't you know it, I checked my calendar and it's June already. I'm already nostalgic about the time we went to that amusement park. Once my surprise fades, I get ready to head to school. Once there, I find myself talking to the usual group. Morning! You two decide on what you're gonna do for that culture festival yet? Well, I mean, they already settled on me helping out for an hour on both Saturday and Sunday, right? I've been forced into it as well. Talking to these two really helps to hammer home that I'm back at my typical daily life. The cultural festival's next weekend. My class has finally decided to go with fortune teller booth idea. I'm a bit worried about it since they decided with hardly a month to spare, but should be fine because there's nothing too difficult to prepare. None of us are playing a big part in it, but we will need to help out because it's a class effort. Instead, help comes in the form of 1-hour shifts on both Saturday and Sunday, it seems. Not what? I mean, I'm asking how you're gonna spend the rest of the time. Oh, okay. I kind of check out the cafe that Naomi's class is running. Her class, huh? Not like you're gonna tag along, you know. Wrong. Wherever Rinka goes, I follow. Spending time with Naomi should be fine so long as while we're at school. She's been working hard for this, so I want to see how it turns out. You got any plans, Mal? Nope. Figures. I'm not interested in what others are doing, so I booked a morning shift. We're allowed to go home, so as long as we're at school when we need to be, so I may as well. And it might do the same. Don't particularly care about anything else. You two suck. Ignoring Mal's attempts to tease us, so I trudge over to the cafeteria. Okay, see ya! With that, Mal skips out of the classroom. Looks like she's heading home in a hurry today. Not sure why, since she generally keeps that aspect of her life to herself. Still, she tends to be more busy more often than not. Not like she's in any clubs either. I can only assume she's got a part-time job or something. Miharu is getting ready to head home herself. Save the data. We are not going home alone. Offer to walk with her. Want to head back to the station together? Are you sure? She starts to pack up even faster when she asks. Under her notebook is an unfamiliar book. Doesn't seem like one from the school's library. No need to rush, though. I'd rather not have you leave me behind for being too slow. I can only smirk. Thanks for yesterday, by the way. I didn't do much, though I'm glad you brought it up. Mind if I ask what happened? Get ready for a long story, I guess. This is a topic I can avoid so long as we're together. I tell her about how I went to Shikasuku's house on numero 11, forced her way in. She's wide-eyed at the start of the story, but by the end all she does was sigh. Honestly, at this point, I'm just scared of what you'll try to pull next. Facts! Things worked out well enough, though. I managed to take things out. Numeral 12. What about it? You still have to eliminate him when all's said and done. I figure I'm being optimistic, but Miharu makes sure to beat reality back into me with her words. Lacking a proper retort, all I do is to avoid eye contact. Well, I'm not going to nag about what you're doing is wrong. If anything goes south, just know I'm ready to protect you. Most importantly, I'm happy that you're revealing this all to me in the first place. Has anything happened on your end? Are you curious? She teases the question with a smile. You're not gonna tell me anything? That's my girl. You know me so well. We move to more standard topics following that as we make our way to the station. Then we exchange goodbyes and part ways. Saturday. Yesterday was a rare day. I was able to open the store for once. Customers dwindle during holiday periods, but regulars in this area still tend to drop by. But most of them understand that my grand's away, so they make it a point to cheer me on rather than criticize my offerings. Yo, Rini, wanna go somewhere the week after the cultural festival? Mel comes over to chat as I'm getting ready to head home. Sure. Got someplace in mind? Not yet. Could always go see a movie or hit up karaoke. She grins. She notices my hesitation. Come on, don't deny me the pleasure of watching your sheepish singing, Rini. I'd very much like to deny you that. I haven't been to karaoke with Niren yet, have we? Be good timing, so let's do it. I bet that girl's got a killer voice. Don't know what she'd sing, but the quieter types are always surprisingly good at singing. The only curveball is Miharu and her job. Whatever. Things will sort themselves out. She prattles on and on without giving me a chance to speak. All too aware that this is her way of making sure I can't turn her down. I'm pretty curious about what Naomi would try to sing, so I end up agreeing. Yes! Make sure you keep the Saturday after next open then! If you make it that long. Probably will because you're protagonist, but... Sure. Saturday after next would be the 16th. 2 more elections stand between now and then. I should be fine for this week's, but who knows about next week's. It's not the mindset I should have, though. My utmost priority is making sure I never get elected. Rini? Apologize for getting lost in thought before we make our way to class. After spending some time in Shinjuku, I find myself waiting for the train. I realize it's been a while since the last time I went to the bookstore, so I decided to stop by before heading home. There are a fair number of new shoujo manga on sale, so I buy a couple to try. Oh, Rinka! As it happens, Naomi is already there waiting for the same train. She even has the same bag and hand as me, which means we are both on at the same store. After discussing what we bought, Naomi's expression gets a bit more serious as she changes the topic. How do things go with that child, may I ask? She must mean you. It's funny, thinking back to the first encounter, not only did I not know his name, but I actually thought he was a girl. How much should I tell Naomi, though? Give her all the details like I did with Miharu. Miharu's warning comes to mind as I mull over. Let's just say things worked out. Oh, okay. Sorry. The exchange is brief, but it's no that leaves Naomi a tad vexed. If I'm not going to tell her everything, then I better off not saying anything at all. Her pained expression tells me exactly how the current situation makes her feel. Doing this to her hurts me enough already, but she must feel even worse than the receiving end. That's why I'm trying my best to change the topic. Something wrong? Since I do, I notice a familiar figure amongst the crowd. Not wanting Naomi to notice, I keep my gaze on her, only resorting to quick glances to make sure I'm right. Naomi, it's you. Standing in the crowd as if waiting for someone. I mean, there's a very limited pool of people he could be waiting for. Tries to seem nonchalant, but I notice him glancing over at me every now and then. Oh, sorry, I forgot something to pick something up at the cafe. Go on back without me. I don't mind joining you. That's fine. I'm sure you're tired of all the preparations for the cultural festival, so so I say go and get some rest. 2 nods, although it's obvious that she has read between the lines. Following that, I wave goodbye as she gets on the train. Yu makes his way over after confirming that I'm alone. Rinka. He probably realized that I saw him. How does he know your name? You never divulged it that entire time, which means that either he overheard Alan calling you Rinka, or He's been watching you. I need to ask a favor. He cuts right to the chase. I opt to quietly hear him out. I want to help Shigasugu see his family again, but I need you to help me figure out where they are. Shigasugu said he'd already given up, but it's obvious that he wanted to see them again for a long time. The only person who can convince him, but I can't bring myself to say anything. It just frustrates me so much. I spent so much time up till now trying to figure out what I should do, trying to figure out the right answer. It was tough, but now I know. Things can't go on like this. We both regret it if they do. He lets his emotions run rampant despite being out in public. There's nothing I can do to stop him either. Once he finishes his spiel, he stares at me, worry all over his face. Can't blame him. Normally, people wouldn't hear him out, but probably hoping for the slightest possibility that I will. I don't know where they are. Shigasugu probably wouldn't tell me either. Doop. Didn't mean to click that. There's no way I could ask Aaron, so you're the only one I can rely on. Please. He's probably expecting me to turn him down based on my silence. I don't seem to be in the right state of mind. This desperation to help Shigasugu serves to warm my heart, as does knowing we both thought the same thing. They moved away due to his son getting transferred to another branch of his company, so finding out which prefecture they were was pretty easy. Calling them and pretending to be in the other departments worked out well, so I've been brushing up on my acting skills ever since Divine Selection started, so I was able to nail down the city they're in. Huh? But the rest is up to you. Just ask around the neighborhood to find out which house is theirs. Guess I can give you money for the Shinkansen and lodging for the night. I gotta keep it a secret from my gran, but it'll be fine so long as you pay me back. What's happening right now? If you're not taking Shigasugu with you, then you'll have to convince his family to come see him instead. I won't help you out more than this, but I want you to trust yourself. I honestly don't get what's happening. Shigasugu said that you is both brave and compassionate. I have to agree. I hand him an envelope. Inside is the information I've already dug up regarding Shigasugu's family, as well as some money. How did you already have that on hand? Did you know I'd do this? It's only because I had the same idea cross my mind. It's their story from here on out. I have no intention of seeing it through. Now that I've done this for you, I should be able to avoid waking up with regret if Shigasugu gets eliminated. I want to see him happy till the very end, so I'll do everything I can to make sure that happens. Thanks, Rinka. I promise I'll pay you back. After he says that, he remains still for a moment. Just as I mutter that I need to go, he stops me. His expression is deathly serious. There's one more favor. His face makes it clear that this one is serious. Even so, I don't expect what comes out of his mouth next. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. No. I want you to eliminate me. Huh? I kind of figured that you already obtained all 3 of my cards. I also figured that you wouldn't elect me. You're just too kind. But why? Because I want you to live. You're joking. Sorry, I shouldn't shout at you. But I'm serious. If there's anyone I'm fine with being eliminated by, it's you. That's not all, though. I shouldn't be allowed to live in the first place. What? What makes you say that? My memories don't seem like they've ever come back, but sometimes I'm scared of myself. Sometimes I get the feeling that the person I was before this is ready to do something terrible. I may become something else entirely if my memories return. Who knows what I'll do then? So please, kill me before that can happen. Oh, my heart! I can feel the pressure he's been bottling up inside from the tone of his voice. An unknown factor has probably been haunting him for a while now. I had no intention of electing him this week, just as he said. Mostly because I don't have it in me. Sorry, but I need some time to think. Why? You'll have to eliminate me sooner or later if you want to live, right? Right, but right now, I'd rather leave that for when your memories return. For when we both learn about the link we share. Are you sure your amnesia isn't just causing you to panic? And I might regret my action by eliminating you before I learn something important. But you gotta. He refuses to give in. He knows that I'm what I'm like by now, and yet he presses on regardless. Please, you'll do this for me, won't you? I can't bring myself to answer. He refuses to stop staring at me, waiting for me to say yes. He believes he might do something terrible, and I can't see that happening. Sure, his past required him to know how to fight, but that doesn't feel relevant to his current fears. It's a promise. He cuts the conversation off after a period of silence and takes his leave without another word. Jeez. There's a reason I couldn't give him the response he wanted. Deep down, I knew. I just can't do it yet. Jeez. Yeah, but like... Today turns out to be another rare day. I kept the cafe open all day long. Leaving it closed so often has taken its toll on me. My legs feel like rubber now that my shift is over. Either way, working up a sweat from hard work feels pretty good. And getting to see all the customers relaxed and content makes it all worth it. Right, time for shower and bed. This week's election awaits. This is a cute outfit. Doesn't actually matter when I decide to get sleep, but the more sleep I get, the better I should feel in the morning. Have you made your decision though? Notice a sizable black object in my room as soon as I enter. Oh, it's Lathe, lording over my bed as always. Oh, you. In all honesty, it's reassuring to know I'm not alone. Aw. Election. Oh. Good evening, my little slaves to fate. Parse's voice echoes throughout the court of fate. That's the prelude to this world's election. Oh, it's nice that we arrive here like clockwork. I'm so old that I forget to set my DVR to record my TV shows. Oh wait, no, that's Sugar. Oh, it's nice that we arrive here like clockwork. I'm so old that I forget to set my DVR to record my TV shows. I would very much appreciate you not treating this as televised entertainment. Her face. Oh? Has humanity's humble TV piqued even a lonely goddess's interest? I assure you, no ethereal being is as educated regarding the trends of the mortal coil as I. Existing out with the bounds of time can lead to extreme boredom, you see. She smiles as she responds to Shikasugu. There's something inherently off about hearing a being like her who feels right at home in a fantasy setting talking about TVs. Wonder if she observes events in the real world from here, as if watching us on TV. I see hints of exhaustion from you all. We are nearly halfway through Divine Selection, so that's to be expected. So can we just get on with it then? It's Frederico. So can we just get along with it then? Might as well hurry this up so we can just get some solid shut-eye. Federico speaks up in his typical tone of jest. From what I can tell, he doesn't have any serious injuries. You claim to have rendered him immobile, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Either that or the dream world doesn't reflect our current state in the real world. Meaning, he's acting fine to cover up the fact that he's been injured. Goodness gracious, quite the impatient lot. Feel no sympathy for the goddess looking to stave off boredom? No matter, we have 8 elections left, including tonight's. I am sure you will provide me with some entertainment during this span of time. Oh, she's terrifying. Allow me to begin tonight's election. Revolvo, clock of fate. Things proceed as usual after that. Each participant announces whether or not they want to elect someone as the clock hand makes its revolution. Naturally, I'm up first, because I'm numeral 1. I announce my intent to not elect anyone tonight. Ooh. In the end, Alan is the only one to announce an election. I elect numeral 5. As expected, he goes straight for Shugasugu. Shugasugu seems satisfied with this outcome. I can only guess the meaning behind it, but I'd like to believe his story ends on a positive one. More importantly, you liar. Since guilt washes over me as I hear those voices getting muttered. Two people face one another in the court of fate's upper sanctum. Alan and Shugasugu. For Alan, this third time, much like the previous two, his expression remains stolid. Well, this is something else. The dream world offers surprise after surprise. Alan remains silent after Shugasugu's remark. The only thing in his eyes is a reflection of an old man's decrepit smile. You've become quite the regular visitor here, haven't you? Alan gives no response to Barca, who appears out of nowhere either. Worry not. I am aware that you are not one for words. Please select your 3 cards. Alan opens up his card book and produces the relevant cards. Once done, he reads them aloud. His name is Yushizuka Shigasugu. He died of starvation. His regret? The family he once got along with. Oh, fortunately, I have no more regrets. What? I'm not sure how you pulled off this trick, but he allowed me the chance to see my family one last time. Don't be foolish. There was no trick. It was a heartfelt gift from him. Your family. To you. His efforts will be in vain if you refuse to accept that. Oh, don't worry. I'm aware. It's just this old man's way of hiding his embarrassment. I see. I would say I'm surprised at your outburst, but that's not true. Well, brief, our time together was enough to understand that no one holds their family as dear as you. I'll let this drag on longer than necessary. Hurry up with the proceedings. Oh, done chatting already. Zoom. Before Alan can respond, the bright light floods from his cards. Envelops the area in an instant. Oh, Alan gets to feel starvation for days. A man haunted by loneliness on the floor in his home. As starvation whittled him away, all he could do was reflect on his past. He wished to return to the happier times. It was an unreasonable dream, and yet it was one he could cling on to as his life's light gradually exhausted. Oh. Expect no sympathy from me. Your dream did end up coming true. It's more than enough. I admit that was quite rare for you to be even the slightest bit sentimental. How many times must I tell you not concerning yourself with me? Do your job. Dull to the core. No matter. You may reveal your interesting side to me sooner than you expect. Alan's platform begins to move as Shigasugu's cards float in front of him. He must pick a card to keep before returning to the lower sanctum. His expression remains emotionless as he chooses. Oh? Sometime after, Alan descends by himself. Which card would you like to obtain? I choose number 4's regret. Something wrong? Hugh seems completely unfazed by Alan's selection. No, that's not quite right. His expression is alien compared to a few minutes ago. It sends a shiver right down my spine. His gaze remains focused on me rather than Alan. That kid. I find it hard to believe that simply anger over me not electing him. This is something else, like I'm staring into an endless abyss of rage. Ouch. My head suddenly begins to pound. But not enough to make me collapse, so I do my best to power through it. Oh. What in the world? There's Alan's bewilderment at the moment he touches Yu's card. The card, which was glowing white, suddenly shatters. The fragments dispersed throughout the area. Oh my. Oh me, oh my. My card book begins to glow as well. Parsa speaks up as soon as I notice. Tonight's recession resulted in one elimination. I bid you all farewell for now. Seeds of some dissonance have already begun to sprout. But this is just the beginning. 5th week! Whoa! What just happened? Oh my goodness. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack. And with that, I think we're gonna end it here. So subscribe, hit the buttons, like things, send things to things, and go, look at this queer YouTuber! Woo! I'm having fun tonight. Anyway, I love you all, and I'll see you next time. Bye!